Lives with Courageously Living. I am Tara, and I am super happy to have you here tonight. These are kind of the Ask Me Anything on spiritual topics. We've done some really cool things in prior ones. We've talked about galactic beings, we've talked about tarot, we've talked about energy work. Tonight, I do want to talk about our new moon in Leo and also setting intentions for that. And the pup just kind of said hi. So hello, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Where are you all from as we kind of get going here? Texas, Minnesota. We've got a lot of people with dealing in the US with a lot of heat. So please make sure you're taking care of yourself, taking breaks when you can, staying in the shade a little bit for the extreme heat that so many of us are under right now. But it is, and then there's still a lot of like rain and thunder, and a lot of the astrologers have talked about with Neptune having moved into Aries that we were going to see some of this kind of big change of weather patterns, especially with Neptune and Saturn both moving into Aries. And unfortunately, that has been the case. And from what they've said, that is going to continue for the next few months. But I am not an astrologer, so check out other astrologers if you're more interested in kind of that Neptune, Saturn moving into Aries and what that all means for us during this time. There's a lot of information there. All right, welcome, welcome. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with talking about the new moon. Welcome, hello. Excellent to see you. So where are you from? Hello, hello, getting a couple more people in, excellent. So where are you all coming from? Hello, hello, hello. And you're joining Courageously Living. I'm Tara. Nice to see you guys. Arizona, excellent. Another place that is really hot right now, so hope you're staying kind of cool. All right, welcome in, everyone. All right, let's kind of get started with this Leo new moon. We talk a lot about different things, but I always want to kind of connect with the new moons and the full moons so that you can see kind of how that plays into your own personal lives. Excellent. Iowa, just north of you in Minnesota. So excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. So we've got a new moon in Leo tomorrow, and it is all about when Leo is in its best, it is about leading from your heart, and it is compassion for yourself and for others. It's connecting to your inner strength, allowing your strength to shine, and stepping into your power, even when that is difficult. You know, maybe there's somebody in your life that you've kind of been afraid to kind of tell your truth to, and now you're ready to kind of give some truth to them. Allow that to happen in a really compassionate and respectful way for both of you. It's also about creativity. What are you starting to want to create in your life? Maybe it's a project you've been working on. Maybe you want to get back into painting or have painted in the past or not at all. And you're like, you know what? I really want to do some painting. Where is your creative outlet? Especially with everything going on in the world right now, it really is important to find things that bring you joy, bring you happiness. And doing those creativity pieces are a great way to kind of really connect with your own inner strength, with your own power. And maybe it's not something really big. Maybe you're just doodling on a piece of paper. But if it's making you happy, it's making you joyful, then keep doing that. Find those moments of joy in your life, because it is really, really important to have joy, especially when everything seems to be in such an upheaval. And that really, really helps. All right, and hello to the new people coming in right now. Excellent. And the other thing with the Leo new moon is you really want to allow yourself to be nurtured. You want to find things that make you feel good. Maybe that is going for a walk. Maybe that is being in nature. What makes you feel good about yourself and about what you're doing in the world? And yes, I am a spiritual coach. I have been a spiritual coach since 2010. So I pull from various practices, various tools. We'll pull some cards a little bit later. I like to kind of use that as a great visual. And the other thing that I want to talk about today, kind of with this new moon, with setting intentions, because with new moons, it's a great time to kind of think about what you want in the next 6 months to come in. And how I really like to connect with that is, what are you setting your intentions for how do you want to feel? So maybe you have a project that's coming up in the next 6 months. And I'm sure if you have a project, you've already kind of thought about what your goals are, what your deadlines are, all of that. But have you actually taken a moment to think about how you want to feel about this project? Do you want to feel confident? Do you want to feel excited? Maybe this is an exciting project for you. Do you want to feel seen or valued? When you can connect to the emotions with your intentions, your goals kind of amplify that. So maybe it is a relationship for you and you want to feel respected in that relationship, or loved, or valued, or nurtured. What is it for you that is going to really up-level that relationship or project coming from you based on what you want to feel? It's something we don't talk about a lot. We talk about the goals. We talk about the kind of the end game. And how can you feel confident when you're struggling? That's a big deal. And everybody goes through it. Everybody goes through periods of not feeling confident. And I certainly have. There's probably something that comes up tomorrow that I may not feel confident in. And one of the things that I found really kind of helps kind of shift your mental capacity a little bit is to play a game with yourself of coming from a place of curiosity and say, what if I feel confident in this project? Or even if you can't go for the project, what if you say, what if I feel confident doing this one small task for this project? And set that as your intention for the day. And when we don't feel confident, it sometimes is going to be setting that intention for a few days, maybe a week. But when you set it in the form of a question, that what if question, what if I feel confident in doing this tiny task today? What it does is it in your neural networks in your brain, it's like, oh, wait a minute, we're going to go this way now instead of going this way. And so if you want like a relationship, that's another question. So you could use the same thing of, what if I have a healthy relationship in my life? And again, if that's too big, you can go to, maybe it is a specific person that's already in your life. Maybe it's a parent, and say, what if I have a healthy relationship with my mom? What if I have a healthy relationship for just this dinner that we're sharing together? So really try to play with the what if in a positive aspect instead of, because we can spiral really negatively into the what if worst case scenarios. And I'm flipping those on their head and saying, no, we're going to do the what if it's positive. What if I feel confident going to work today? What if I feel confident in a healthy relationship? And the more that you run that through in the morning, as you set that intention for the morning, it really starts to change the way that you think about things. So really kind of play with the positive what ifs. If you're looking for a job, what if I come across the job posting today that I'm interested in? What if I, reach out to an old network contact and they know of something? Again, you're changing the dynamic of what you're expecting. And that's with the intention. And so with going back, kind of circling back to our Leo new moon, Leo wants to come from the heart. Leo wants to have that compassion for yourself and for others. So this is a great way to kind of start to play with it. And you can even put like a reminder on your phone for your what if statement. So that's kind of a fun way to play with different things and get into a different perspective. All right. So you really do want to, with intentions, you want to set the positive, what you're looking for, instead of the kind of the spiral of the negative. All right. So and the other thing I wanted to mention about Leo and the new moon is it's the energy of nourishing your soul. So whatever that looks like for you, whatever your spiritual practices are, maybe that is, for some people that is reading the Bible or reading the Quran. Maybe for other people that's going and walking in nature. What is it for you that's going to kind of feed that soul, that spirituality for you? And maybe, today it's walking in the woods, and tomorrow it's learning something new about a different religion, whatever it is, or a practice, a spiritual practice. The more you can kind of integrate it into your life, it's going to give you that nourishment that you could use. So yes, you could do the Quran. I am not associated with any specific religion, but there is a lot of religious texts out there. There are different tools you can use. You can, pull like these cards are from the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection. And, start with where you are is like a great card. So often we think of things like we have to be an expert at our spirituality. We have to already know everything. And we don't. We're constantly learning. We are learning so much every day if we allow ourselves to, if we come from a place of curiosity, a place of excitement. So think about where you are right now and where you can bring some nourishment into your life. All right, so we're going to pull a couple cards for you tonight and see what is a good thing to focus on with this new moon in Leo. All right. Perfect. So we have new beginnings and solitude. New moons are a great, great time to go within, to reflect. We have a bunch of planets in retrograde right now. All of those planets, when they retrograde, it's about focusing on yourself, focusing on that energy of where do you want your new beginnings to happen from? And solitude. You need time to really contemplate what's going on in your life. Where are you ready to grow? Where are you ready to expand? So really think about that in this new moon. That's tomorrow. Where are your new beginnings? And where can you get some solitude in your life so that you can actually move forward to expand your horizons? All right. And that is really what I have for you today. Other spiritual topics you want to talk about today? The other one I do think I want to pull for you is I want to do one from the Wisdom of the Trees, because I think it's really important that we start to kind of connect with nature again. So what is it for you for the Wisdom of the Trees? Survival. Where are you? And that's perfect with the new beginning and the solitude card. Where are you feeling like you're just surviving? And where do you want that new beginning to happen? Because once you sit in solitude, your new beginnings are allowed to flourish and to come up to the top of the surface. And then you go from survival to kind of thriving in your life. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now that some days it is just going to be about survival. And that's okay too. We get so caught up in that we have to always be moving and doing things that sometimes your day-to-day stuff, your logical stuff is all that it is going to be for today. And that's okay. And to be compassionate with yourself, saying, yes, this is where I am today. And acknowledging that. All right, I wanted to kind of keep this one short today. And so thanks for all the interactions. And I always end with a self-hug. Self-hug. You have a private side and a public side, and both sides can use your extra support and I will catch you on the next live. I go live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. All right, I will see you next week.